Hello and welcome to the video. I'm Villain Furry, and if you're looking for inspiration for multiplayer teams, then look no further, as today we're discussing our favorite 4-player hero teams. And when I say we're discussing it, I'm here with my good friend Razor, who I'm going to let introduce themselves.
It's my first time guest on this channel. Fairly unknown in the community. But yeah, I'm excited. We talked about this a couple times.
You're being very shy because I think we have talked for quite a few years. I think you're the person who introduced me to Marvel Champions.
I think so too.
I'm excited to talk about these teams because what we've done is you've picked 10 and I've picked 10, but in a cruel twist of fate, I know you're 10 because I prepared the images everyone listening here is going to be able to see, but you don't know my 10.
I've seen 2, I think.
Yeah, I gave a little sneaky preview, but in general.
Yeah, no, I have no clue. The only thing I know is that you're going to be talking about more deck building combinations, I think.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a little technical.
Yeah, and I picked the teams more like thematic. Like I like playing this game with 4 heroes, and I usually go for like the thematic teams, like 4 Avengers or 4 Guardians or whatever. So that's how I put together these teams. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to identify more of that approach. Like, these 4 characters make sense together. This is a fun team. These are in the comics or the movies.
Right.
Whereas haha, I can make the numbers do these funny things. So I think we should get into it. I think we'll start with one of yours, and you know which one is the first one at least. And that's going to be what you have named the Big Four. Tell me about the Big Four. Who are these guys?
Well, I call it the Big Four because it's the 4 heroes. Like, I'm a huge MCU fan like you are, and these are basically the 4 out of the 6 that started the whole phase 1 of the MCU, right?
Yeah, I mean, these are the 4 that actually had their own movies.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's correct, actually. Yeah, the other 2 haven't.
Oh, that wasn't planned.
not until later. So that's basically the reason.
4 Avengers.
4 strong Avengers. Well, 3 strong Avengers and 1 slightly less strong, I guess.
Like, in the comics and movies, I think they're all like physically strong.
Yeah.
You know, Iron Man with his suit to help. Do you have like any favorite aspects for these guys?
I really like Thor in aggression.
Makes sense.
But that would leave Hulk, any non-aggression aspect, which I don't like for him either. But I also like protection for Thor, so that's what I usually go for, and then Hulk in aggression, and then I have justice and leadership left for the other 2.
I like that. Would you ever consider putting Hulk and Thor in aggression?
That's an option, sure. I don't think I've played it that way. I usually play like one aspect or one different aspect for each hero.
Yeah, I think most people do. I'm just weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have one of the team-ups that we're going to discuss later that have 4 of the same aspects, I believe. So.
Ooh, that's exciting. And we should actually say for the listeners, you're my weird friend. I mentioned you in a couple of podcasts here and there. You might even not be aware of this, because I don't think I've told you this, but I always reference my weird friend who plays 4-handed, so you play 4 different heroes by yourself quite often.
That's right. Yeah, because I don't have any friends to play this with. Yeah.
No. Thanks,
wait.
Buddy.
Let me rephrase. I have friends. They just don't play this game.
I see you going for the no friends kind of sympathy angle.
Yeah, I want to farm friends on this channel. New friends.
Something I haven't said on this channel for a while, which I'm gonna tease out there for the people. We're going very content mode now, Razor. So prepare yourself. Okay. I haven't asked for like comment, subscribe. Subscribe. I haven't said any of this stuff in my videos for quite a while. Long before I announced I was going to be, slowing down / stopping. Kind of because I just, I hit 3K subscribers. And I was like, I'm good with numbers. I mean, I was kind of good with them anyway, but I was like, probably not going to hit 4K. And, then I'm, heading out kind of thing. But we're so close to 4K now. I think I'm going to do a special bonus video that I initially planned years ago at this point for hitting 1K subs, and I didn't do it. So if you're watching this, if you're enjoying it, I've still got a few more good juicy videos coming up, and if we get to 4K, there will be a bonus one. So I'm just gonna throw that out there, and then I think we can move on to the next set of heroes.
Nice.
I'm gonna go for one of mine now, and it's gonna get slightly more complicated, but I'm starting off easy by my standards. So we're going from the Big Four to what I'm calling late game carry. Bit of a game kind of term here, but it's a pretty simple concept. I've got 2 characters on the left, Gamora and Angel, who are really quick out of the gate, very event-heavy heroes that can make a big impact with very little setup necessary. Then we've got Ironheart, who needs to build up a bunch of progress counters, and Iron Man, who wants to play a bunch of tech. So the characters on the left effectively going to hold down the game in the first few turns. And then in the sort of middle game to the late game, Ironheart and Iron Man should start dominating everything. So it's kind of coverage for the early game, and then the powerful characters who grow in strength will be ready to absolutely give the villain a very bad time.
Yeah. Looks really cool actually. This is one of the approaches that I wouldn't have thought of myself, but that's what you're here for, I guess.
That's kind of honestly. This is not thematic like your team. You had 4 Avengers. They're from the movies.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, I think Ironheart and Iron Man. That's kind of a theme there. We've got some geniuses with like the
Yeah.
Iron Man suit kind of thing going on. But I don't know how we make a story about Angel and Gamora. This is what I call comic book soup. It's just all kind of come together and mixed in.
Well, I think Gamora is the only one odd one out here because there's 3 flying heroes, right?
I should have made this a flying thing because the idea behind this is just 2 characters strong in the early game, 2 characters strong in the late game, and I just kind of like this combo. I could have put an aerial theme to this too if I put, Nova's pretty good early on. There's probably Spectrum's got pretty strong early on. We should have come up with 10 teams together. So the biggest mechanical thing I can sort of think of as like a downside here maybe is that both Ironheart and Iron Man might want Moon Girl, but you probably give it to Ironheart, right? Because she likes mentals more, and she can play Moon Girl in hero form or alter ego.
Yeah, I'd give it to Ironheart. So aspect-wise, how would you do this?
Iron Man protection, so I want all that tech, including energy shield. The new 0 cost. Just chuck a couple of those in there, and this is a 0 cost plus 1 hand size increase that you can use to help you survive. Ironheart, I think, goes leadership, and Gamora then in aggression because I really like all those attack events trigger the sword, which is a lot easier to get into play now. All these characters like superpowered training, unless Angel has his wings out already, but get the upgrades in.
I usually play Gamora in aggression too. I like it.
Should we go to the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Upgrades.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
I love how surprised you are.
No, upgrades. I remember. So X-Men, it's one of my favorite teams to play with. I think the favorite. Yeah, they have a lot of synergy cards. But the way this kind of team works is that they all have, or like these particular 4 X-Men all have upgrades in their hero cards that you can put on minions. So Rogue has her touched, Nightcrawler has BAMs, Iceman has Frostbites, and Cyclops has like three different ones that I've kind of got the name.
I think we've got practice, defense, exploit, weakness, and priority target. Yes, I'm a little bit nerdy.
Yeah, I usually don't remember the names of the cards, most of them. But yeah, that's the whole theme here. Like you put upgrades on there, and then you can also use. You're gonna have to help me out here, but there are events like aggression events that I think of now that do damage to upgraded.
Yeah, I think minions. Iceman's precon came with Take That, and he also came with kind of a readying card, surprise move, I think it's called, which I quite like. And of course, with all these upgrades, Cyclops is going to be able to like optic blast anybody he wants, which is pretty fun.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So that was the theme. One thing to note here, though, you need a big table for this. Like you have a lot of things on the table, but it's actually quite fun.
Nice. I like it. I like this a lot. Do you have any favorite aspects? I'm gonna guess Cyclops leadership.
Yeah. I really like Iceman in aggression, but I kind of like him in leadership too, but maybe not in this team up. And then Nightcrawler probably protection.
Nightcrawler's got like the biggest defense that you've ever seen, so protection all checks out.
Armored
I like
vest
that.
and his what is his upgrade called?
Cutlasses.
Yeah, there you go. It's weird that it gives defense to me, but I'll take it.
I guess he's like parrying, and if you attack enough, people can't attack back.
Offense is the best defense, right? Someone said once.
Yeah, it's a different kind of retaliate.
Yep.
Preemptive retaliation.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool. I like this team a lot. I like these different X-Men. Should we see what I've picked next?
Yes.
I don't think you've seen this one, and I don't remember what order I put them in. So we have Follow the Leader. I remember this one now. This team must look incredibly random to you.
Yeah. I'm looking at like 4 different like X-Men, Guardian, Avengers, and X-Force characters. So I just explain it to me.
If anyone in the comments can figure out how these characters came together, let me know. But this is all mechanical. And the main inspiration here is Cyclops and Nebula together as a pair here. Because, and I should say, I've tried to, I think, follow on from your characters with like if I've got Cyclops in one and you had Cyclops in one, I'll put my one after your one, so we kind of
I
more
see.
familiar with the
Okay.
character in the
Okay.
topic. I would have explained a little bit about him, but aside from his tactic upgrades, which I really like, putting them on minions or the villain, etc. Cyclops has this field commander card, and once that's on the board, he always goes first, and that's really favorable with Nebula, whose techniques trigger at the start of the turn that she begins in hero form. But if Cyclops is always going first, then Nebula can be in hero form. It can be the hero phase, but she will have time on Cyclops' turn to play Lethal Intent, which triggers her techniques she has. If she were to be first player, if it were to roll around and, she's got the first player token, those techniques would go off, and Lethal Intent would basically be a dead card in her hand. So Cyclops going first guarantees Nebula can get really good value from Lethal Intent, and it can be really, really sort of valuable per resource spent on it to get those technique effects. So that was the foundations of this, and Ant-Man has a secret kind of similar thing as well.
Ant-Man.
So what I like to do with Ant-Man is this would be, for this one, have him in leadership with team building exercise and Quinjet. Quinjet is that little one-cost leadership card that gets a counter every time your turn begins, and then you can, it's basically sacrifice it to summon in an Avenger ally. Normally with Ant-Man, your turn rolls around, you play it, whether it's with team building exercise or normally, you've got Quinjet down, but because it's at the start of your turn, it gains a counter. It doesn't do anything, it doesn't start powering up until your next turn, to the next hero phase. But if Cyclops is always first player, you are guaranteed going to be able to use team building exercise on his turn. For the people who aren't aware, you can call for actions on other people's turns. But yeah, Nebula can Lethal Intent on Cyclops' turn, and Ant-Man can team building exercise to get Quinjet in, so that when Ant-Man's turn comes around, he gets a counter on it straight away. It just powers up effectively a turn quicker if you team building exercise it on somebody else's turn.
Yeah. So this is basically the big difference between, like, I would have never put together anything like this. But it's cool. Yeah, it's cool that you think of the game like that.
I quite enjoy making the numbers do all those strange things, but I think most people here are going to probably take your approach with it, or just a lot of people I think also have a deck they want to play, a deck their friends wants to play, and they just try and make it work together as well. So you definitely have many different valid approaches,
which is totally fair too, right?
Yeah, totally. You want to see your next team?
Yeah,
we have Dance Off. Yeah.
I think this is very straightforward, right? I mean, the first thing to notice is that the 4 Guardians on the field now.
Well, what I want to point out here is that we're missing Groot, and I think he's not involved in the scene of the movie this is named after, which is quite sad in a way.
Yeah. Well, I can only pick 4, right?
Yeah.
But you can swap them out. But I think these 4 Guardians are actually the ones I like to play the most lately. When I started playing this game, I really liked Venom, who is a Guardian too. But he kind of fell off for me. And I lean more towards these 4. I really like Drax. He's really fun.
So fun.
Star-Lord is really fun. He's one of my favorites. The risky play is just really fun.
I remember we played the game once and you were like, I think I can do this. And then we lost the game off it.
No, but, well, hear me out. My rule of thumb with Star-Lord is whatever happens, I'm using my what could go wrong every turn. And that's basically what I do. That's how I like to play. It's risky, but yeah.
Yeah, I quite enjoy it as well. And I like these 4 heroes. I think this is a really fun combo.
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
Here we go. I've gone for a Rebel Alliance. So this is the second one I did show you a little preview of kind of what mine might look like. This one is, again, mechanical, but there's a bit more of a theme to it. And if you like Star Wars, I guess the name has kind of a theme. I guess all of these characters have some science fiction-y ties. Rogue maybe less, but I don't know. X-Men are crazy. Nonetheless, the theme here is very, very simple. A lot of my decks will have one core character that enables something, and I kind of build the rest around it. So this is a concept for Bishop that as soon as I saw the preview for him, I was like, that's going to be fun to do. And I think it is. Bishop has tons and tons of resources, tons and tons of money. Sometimes you can have too much. Sometimes you just deck build a million resource cards into him. And with this, we have a way to make that work. We are basically using Bishop to pay for alliance cards. So Captain Marvel, her card draw is very useful. You can actually give that to Bishop, do interesting things with it. But she's very good with Mutant Mayhem, for example. I actually think I prepared some images here. We've got Gunboat Diplomacy as well, potentially very, very strong. Problem Solvers, which Star-Lord is very good for, since he can turn all Avengers into Guardians, so he's a lot more sort of flexibility with that. And even Cosmic Alliance, I think, is a little bit underrated in certain circumstances. And what this kind of allows us to do is Bishop can have all these resources in hand, and these other characters will have like these alliance cards and be like, "Hey, Bishop, pay for this for me." And Bishop kind of the living bank. Rogue can also super power adaptation, like to yoink even more alliance cards if you need it that way. Captain Marvel can even like bring Children of the Atom and play it on Rogue. Anyone can play that. So there's kind of interesting things you can do here.
I really like this. But I immediately thought of a question to ask you.
Yes.
How does what could go wrong interact with alliance cards?
You cannot use it to pay for other people's alliance cards.
Yeah, okay, but you can use it for your own.
Yes, when you play a card, doesn't matter if it's alliance or not, you can use it, reduce its cost by 3. It's an interrupt, so that will go like before everyone else starts paying, I believe. And then Bishop can pay for anything that's left if it's like one of those 4 costs, like problem solvers or something.
That's really. I think I'm gonna try this once.
I like that I've inspired you. Hopefully, this is kind of the goal of this video. I think. Ready for yours?
Yep.
We have. Hold on. X-Force.
Oh, yeah. So, well, this is basically just Dance Off, but then the X-Force variant.
This
just
is like
4 X-Force characters.
Yeah, it's like classic teams of the characters, and this is kind of your pick of the 6 X-Force we have. This was your pick of 4.
These are the ones I like most. I'm not really a Deadpool or Domino guy.
I really like Cable, Psylocke, and X-23. I think 4th place is really difficult. I do like Angel and I do like Domino, but it could be either one on any given day for me.
Yeah, you didn't mention Deadpool.
Who? No, Deadpool's interesting, and a little spoiler, he isn't one of my teams in this video.
Oh, okay.
Even though I am not usually a big fan of him, I kind of am in this way. So we'll come to that later on, but I like this as a team. We have a lot of really strong forwarding here, a lot of strong damage. All these characters are pretty self-sufficient. I guess Psylocke's a little bit more vulnerable to damage, but not in a very big way.
Not if you play her in protection.
I quite like her with X-Force leadership because she can run the Cable ally, but not with this team up of 4.
Nope. Well, it's you can use them as a resource then.
Great.
Yeah, no.
That's how I know it's time to talk about the next team.
Let's move on.
I have gone for Cannon Crew.
Oh.
This is all about War Machine's shoulder cannon. I think as soon as people will hear me say that, maybe they see the Cyclops ally here, they know what I'm talking about. But if not, War Machine's shoulder cannon does 1 damage. You can ready it up, do another damage, spend your ammo 1 at a time, 1 damage, 1 damage, 1 damage. A little card came out with Psylocke called Float Like a Butterfly, which if the enemy's confused, and that's what Psylocke's kind of here for still, she is very, very good at confusing. It increases the damage of your attacks by 1, basically. So now shoulder cannon is dealing 2, 2, and 2 damage instead of 1, 1, and 1. So it basically doubles its damage if the enemy is confused and he has Float Like a Butterfly in play. And actually, Psylocke is quite rich. She can actually play Float Like a Butterfly on War Machine rather than War Machine bringing it himself, which I really like. But then Cyclops with Exploit Weakness, or the ally version, if someone's playing that, it could be any hero playing that at that point, can also increase the damage of an enemy will receive from attack. So now Shoulder Cannon could be dealing 3, 3, and 3 damage. And it can get a little bit crazy if you've built up like a stack of ammo on your munitions bunker. And then Cable is here. Cable's just a really good multiplayer character. You're going to see Cable, Cyclops, and Storm on a few of my builds. A little teaser for what's coming up with Storm. Just because I think they have such good multiplayer synergy. But Cable can just help you maybe get Shoulder Cannon turn 1, or maybe, build support is very, very good. And that can just help set everyone up to do good things.
Yeah, so it's basically just
it's War Machine's Cannon Crew.
A lot of, it's just farm a lot of ammo counters on your support on your bunker, and then go nuts, go crazy,
honestly,
go nuclear.
Yeah, War Machine's so good now with all the new cards. I was talking to Nelson about this recently, but Leo, Fitz, Gemma, Simmons, just to get the tech even easier. I really like that.
Yeah, I played him with those new shield supports once. It seems very strong. Yeah, I like this too. I mean, it's less technical than the others, maybe.
Yeah,
but still more than mine. Looks really up to this point. I kind of want to try like any of your decks that you mentioned on this video. Like they look very fun and very strong too.
Well, let's see what happens with my next one. But up next is yours, and neither of us remember what this is. It is Web Warriors.
Well, another just team up theme.
But there
Like,
are more than 4 web warriors, and you've chosen these 4.
yes, I like these the most. Um, well, okay. I see where this is going. You kind of lured me into this. I'm gonna go with it. Spider Ham.
Where's
I'm just
Spider
not a
Ham?
big
Where's
fan.
the bacon?
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan. It just doesn't click for me with him. He's strong, I know that. He can play probably any aspect. I know that too. It's up to this point. It's probably my least played hero in the entire game.
That's
Um,
crazy.
I
Does it
just
include like the latest characters? Do you think you've already played Black Panther Shuri and Silk more than Spider Ham?
honestly, probably, yeah.
So this is kind of like a
Silk,
vegan web warriors. There's absolutely no pigs allowed.
yeah, yeah. No, I just okay. We can talk about this for hours, but no, I just don't like him, so
I'm
I don't play him.
curious. No, that's fair
Um,
enough. You know,
yeah.
everyone has different tastes. There's no accounting for it and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But no, that's totally fair. I think these are 4 very fun web warriors as well. So there's no reason you shouldn't put them together.
SPDR is probably well, Silk is really fun too, but SPDR is probably my favorite web warrior. It requires a lot of setup maybe, but speed that process up with all systems go. But yeah, once set up, very strong I think, and has an inbuilt ready up, has a stat increase, kind of strong in any aspect too. I think.
Yeah. I like this team a
Um,
lot. I really like SPDR a lot, actually. I historically, when we were in the WebWire wave, and even when we were in the first like X-Men wave, I would have told you Penny Parker, SPDR, was my least favorite of the Web Warriors. But
oh really?
now she might be my favorite, and I don't know what exactly changed. I think, I found one build I really liked with her. I actually really like her and Paul as well as the regular aspects.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think I just sort of looked at her with fresh eyes and it all just kind of clicked. Whereas I think some of the other ones, I don't know, just I don't feel as engaged with. But Penny Park is just really fun. But this lineup also kind of reminds me of my late game carry kind of build here because I think Miles Morales definitely is very quick off the mark. Ghost Spider, sure, I want to play the web bracelets, but she can definitely get some output going. Whereas I think SPDR and actually Silk has quite a few upgrades and supports. Maybe take a couple of turns to fully power up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I agree with that. Silk. Okay, so Silk is obviously the one that played the least up to this point because she's only been out for like a month or 2 months maybe.
Spider Ham's been out
Um,
a long time. I'm not making any
yeah,
assumptions anymore.
he's not making it to my table. I don't know. Just fun characters. I think the Web Warriors, except for Spider Ham, are all really fun. I usually play Miles in leadership and then use the Web Warrior allies, but also the champion allies. Some of them, like Moon Girl,
Well, now you have
is
to
very good.
consider Moon Girl and Silk together.
Oh yes, of course. But then you have to flip the player.
Well, this is an interesting question for you because I've done like some videos with Boom Guy, and he doesn't like going Ultra Ego, whereas I like to go Ultra Ego quite aggressively.
Uh-huh.
What is
Uh-huh.
your stance on it?
I'm probably in the middle. I usually go Ultra Ego when I need to recover, mostly.
I
Yeah.
I quite like to do it, but there's nothing wrong with the other approach as well. Like for you, it's more of like kind of like a pit stop, kind of like I need to recover and
Yeah.
fix
Oh
myself
yeah,
up.
that's a good way to look at it. Also,
Me, I'm more like greedy, and I'm just like, give me all the stuff.
anyway,
On to the
shall we
next
go
one.
on? Yeah.
Let's see what kind of technical monstrosity I have concocted.
Uh-oh.
I've gone for Storm Chasers, and okay, you'll be
Oh
relieved to
boy.
hear this isn't that technical. A little bits, but the general gist here is that I love playing Storm, and I love the Thunderstorm weather more than any of them, more than like the
Yeah,
rest of them combined.
I was about to say this is probably, if I look at this team, it's probably about the plus attack weather.
Yeah,
Because She-Hulk has high attack, X-23 has it, and then Captain America can ready himself up, so he can activate twice. Is that
yeah.
what you were thinking? Or
If this was a quiz, you would have passed.
thank you. Nice.
Yeah, it's perfect. That's exactly it. Storm gives +1 attack across the board. X-23 comes with a ready up built in, good stats. Captain America can ready up, like you said. She-Hulk, she can ready, and we've got limited stamina. She can do a lot of basic attack damage, and that's what Thunderstorm is really going to enable. But there is some secret synergy here, kind of with all the characters, but especially She-Hulk. So, She-Hulk's special thing, with superhuman strength, it boosts her attack stat by 2, but if she attacks an enemy, it stuns them and discards the upgrade.
Mhm.
But if the enemy's already stunned or something, they cannot be stunned again. The upgrade does
Yeah.
not get discarded and so on. But there's also another workaround. Storm can make every character stalwart,
Yeah.
which also prevents characters from being stunned. So She-Hulk can just punch whoever she wants and not worry about losing her superhuman strength while Storm has gone to clear skies.
That's cool.
So
That's very cool.
I like that. Again, thematically, it's kind of a mess. I think Storm and X-23 you can kind of put together. She-Hulk and Captain America. This is kind of like the X kind of mutants and Avengers kind of like come together, and like the villain has annoyed both of them. That's kind of the storyline here. That's my theme.
Yeah, I like it. I usually, when I play with Storm, I like to go with like ally heavy decks and then use the +1 attack weather that way.
Yes.
Just to boost all your allies, which is another way of doing it.
I mean,
This is very fun, yeah.
I was going to say here. I mean, you maybe still run Storm that way, and just everyone else is just starting to just basic attack.
Yeah. So, just a question: is this a 4 aggression deck? Who's going to be in charge of the threat removal here?
Well, here's the fun thing: you can't lose the threat if you've won by defeating the villain.
Yeah, that's true. You just speed run it.
I mean, you could probably put 1 or 2 of these in Justice, and you would probably be fine on the threat. You could have them basic attack and then focus on maybe events and allies and things for threat control. But this team will win fast against most. It's not a rush necessarily, but it's a very high tempo team.
Right. Yep.
Next up, we have leaderships, plural.
Oh yes. So this is a very fun way of playing this game, in my opinion. This is the team up that I talked about that has 4 of the same aspects. I think you can figure it out. There are 4 leaders of teams on your screen here. Well, 6.
Makes sense.
6. Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
You can kind of you don't have to go obviously with Captain America and Star-Lord, but I just like those. I kind of wouldn't want Magneto and Cyclops on the team. Because
they want to lead the same team, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let me ask you this question: which of these characters do you think is the leader of these characters combined? Do you think one of them steps up to lead the whole thing?
It's probably Captain America.
Do you think Magneto would follow him?
That's a good question.
I think Magneto would yoink his shield. Does it work on Vibranium, his powers? I feel like yes.
Vibranium, I mean, we've seen it in the MCU. It's magnetic. He magnetically, attaches to his back or his wrist, right?
Does it have like a magnetic plate of I don't know, iron or something underneath the back? You never know.
Yeah.
Comic experts, let me know.
we should ask Tony Stark. He made the shield, right?
I guess so.
Howard Stark made it.
One of them.
Anyway, one of them. One of the Starks.
Ready for the next one?
Yes.
Let's go. So next up, Storm-inspired, Storm-based, we have Torn This. And this is an idea I immediately came up with. Basically, I think that's when I saw X-23, but it kind of works with different characters. And I actually ended up not including X-23 in this lineup. But it's Storm and Cyclops. And the reason they are here, among other reasons, Storm with Thunderstorm can be really good for Drax and so on. But here, we're actually leaning into Blizzard with Storm, which lowers all the enemies' attack by 1. Cyclops can put Practice Defense out, which lowers their attack by 1. And Spider-Ham and Drax both come with taunt cards to make the enemy attack them, but now they're getting attacked for a lot less. So they can kind of just taunt with their own cards and play the actual protection card taunt, maybe some bait and switch in there. And the enemy's hitting them like a wet noodle.
That's funny. That's a really cool way to do this, I think. Nullifying the enemy attacks, basically, and then taunt them into attacking you with, 0 attack. That's fun. That's cool.
Spider-Ham's going to be getting 2 encounters when he taunts them. Drax will always get a Vengeance counter, so I really like that. But you could kind of substitute these characters out a little bit. X-23 comes with Puncture Wound, which can also lower damage that you would be taking for a round, so I really like that. I like Spider-Man here. If he taunts, he gets an extra card because of his Spider Sense.
Yeah, I really like this one too. I think I'm gonna try this one too. Except for Spider-Ham, I probably swap him out for X-23.
I want to make you play Spider-Ham. I want you to try him again. I will make you a Spider-Ham deck to play.
Sure, we can do that, but yeah.
I can hear the pain. You don't want to do it.
About it. No, I just don't like playing him.
It's funny. I have that with Venom, and I've talked about it on this channel before. I've talked about you playing Venom before.
I know another one actually that you don't like playing that much.
Yeah,
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I'm not big into him, and it's been a lot of talk he's actually fun. Just put him against strong enemies. I've done that recently, and I just don't enjoy him even there. It's not a difficulty thing. It's
No.
when I first
Okay.
played him, he was the second character I ever played in this game. I don't know if you remember. You went and found me a deck for him.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's totally fair. Ready for your next team?
Yep.
Up next, we have Shield Aid.
Oh yes, this is probably one of my favorites. So since the introduction of the two new Shield heroes, Nick and Maria, I kind of started to love Maria Hill.
I'm really pleased to hear that because on my channel, people hearing me talk about it, I've not been a huge Maria fan, so I like that I've got some kind of Maria representation to talk her up.
She probably is the hero that needs the most time to set up. If you use all those big shield support cards, right? The Cersei and the Pericles
I think
and
if you
all
want to go
those
for like
big shield.
all of those in one deck, yeah, that's very expensive.
Yeah, well, I do want that because I like those cards.
Yeah, they're cool. No, it's fun. Nothing wrong with it. It's
um,
just expensive.
yeah, but then you can maybe find a way play heroes that require less setup and then to carry the early game, like you said in one of your previous mentioned teams.
Yeah, I think Maria, if you wanted to
Um,
like swap her into like the late game carry and like the Iron Man or Ironheart slot, would do great.
yeah, and then the thing here is like I started to do a couple of campaigns like this, use Maria Hill as the ultimate support character sort of, and then pick a team like Avengers or X-Men or any other team. And then the theme is that Shield aids the heroes in during the campaign.
I like this.
Um,
This is in a way this is more reminiscent of my teams because you've got one person from one team and then
mhm,
some other stuff going on. You've got a bit of a story pre-planned for this.
yeah,
But that makes perfect sense to me. I think Shield aiding, different hero groups, particularly Avengers makes special sense, but it could be
makes
anyone.
sense. Yeah,
In the Sinister
yeah.
Motives campaign, Miles and Gwen are being helped by Nick
Hmm.
Fury, and so it totally checks out. I really like that. Do you play
Well,
Maria in one certain aspect?
it changes between two, which is leadership or justice.
Okay, that's what I would have guessed, and that's probably what I would do as well. I remember my next team, and I remember why I put it after this one.
Okay.
It
Does it include
involves,
Maria?
yeah, it does. That's exactly what it does. So I have gone for what I'm calling the Invincibles, and
Ooh.
this starts with Maria Hill, and all of my teams start with a character. And maybe it's because I mainly play two-player. I like have a character, pick something to complement it, and like complement further. But what I've got here is I really like Captain Marvel and Maria Hill. We've got a bit of shield on Captain Marvel's Ultra Ego. If I try and tie a theme into this, but that was not the intention.
Mhm.
Uh, but what I but what I've ended up doing with Maria Hill a lot of the time, my deck builds are trying to maximize her turn one, just because if I end up with, like, let's say, Shield Director in my opening hand, but I want to play a big heavy carrier or set something up, it can sometimes be awkward, and there are workarounds, but it can kind of hold you back sometimes. What I really like doing is having Captain Marvel in Alter Ego just give Maria Hill a card. It kind of guarantees you cannot have a bad turn one with Maria Hill, and if you start to get the ball rolling with Maria Hill really well, I feel like the rest of the game kind of just happens. It just kind of works really
Yeah.
well. So that's a bit of the inspiration there. But what I also really like is going back to just She-Hulk is one of the two options here. You can even have She-Hulk and Colossus, but Cable's so good. But Maria Hill with the Pericles, she can stun any
Yeah.
enemy at any time, which means She-Hulk's
Ah.
superhuman strength isn't falling off like ever, basically. It's super consistent. But on the flip side, if you've got Colossus in instead, she can give Colossus toughs. It's very Doctor
Yeah.
Strangey. I'd say more reliable, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Pericles every time.
Oh, that's really cool.
And then I put Cable here. It could have just been She-Hulk and Colossus, but Cable's so good at helping people set up. He can start with build support, probably maybe the optimal choice here, and we can get Maria Hill more shield stuff. We can get Captain Marvel on turn one, Alpha Flight Station. I think that's very, very strong. She-Hulk and Colossus, I feel like have less of an optimal. You need the support in play, but you can have like Quinn Carrier, X-Jet, something like that. Utopia maybe that I think would do really well here.
Yeah, definitely. I like that 3/4 of this team can already fit in one of those Shield Aid teams that we mentioned before. Because two of these characters are Avengers, so you put Maria and then the two Avengers in there. So
Yeah.
you have the synergy that you have in this team and my synergy, and then you just pick a fourth. But yeah, it looks really fun. Again, like all of your teams look great and look fun.
Well, thank you very much.
Which
I have
which
liked all of your
which is
teams as well. Let's just stress that.
yeah, yeah. No, but well, like we said, yours are just more of the technical side of the game, and mine are just thematic teams. But
I
We
like
can
that
combine
though.
them like this.
I almost feel like I need to play more thematic teams. I feel like that's almost an area of the game, even after all these years. I haven't explored as much as maybe most people
Mm,
have because I'm always looking at the mechanics. And I
mhm.
do love Marvel. You know, we talked about the MCU earlier. Starting to read a couple of comics, that kind of thing. But you know, I like the thematic thing. I think that's really a really fun approach. So yeah, theme here. Maybe you have to swap Cable out, or maybe you know you go Colossus and Cable on its mutants and Shield kind of. You
Mhm,
know, having two
mhm.
shield aiding two mutants kind of thing. You can make it work.
Oh yeah.
We can tell our stories.
Well, there you go. Well, mostly it's just have fun, right? That's the most important part.
That's like the best advice I've heard, you know. Just fun is what matters most. Play what's most fun. And I like that we're showcasing two different styles here.
All right.
Be ready for your next one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ladies of the MCU, which I feel is very to the point.
Well, the theme is in the name, right?
It kind of reminds me of your first team, the Big Four. You know, it's a team of four Avengers, and it's kind of
Mhm.
movie inspired. But now it's just a different kind of theme alongside that.
I think them being four Avengers is kind of by accident because there are other female characters in this game that are also in the MCU, like Gamora, Nebula. But I like these heroes too. Just a team up of characters I like to play. Scarlet Witch is my favorite hero by far out of any hero in this game. Her kit, her signature cards are just so much fun. How it interacts with
Hexbolt.
the encounter deck. Hexbolt is really fun. My favorite card is Chaos Magic.
Yes. No, I mean it makes sense. I think this is a fun team. I really like Scarlet Witch as well. And kind of on a slightly off-topic thing here, as I haven't done this as one of my teams, and I kind of know you won't have because you do thematic things. But I think you'll like Rogue paired with Scarlet Witch.
Okay, is there a particular reason?
If you like Chaos Magic, Rogue can use Superpower Adaptation on Scarlet Witch to grab Chaos Magic and use it, you know,
Uh,
2 or 3 times, you know, through the deck pass kind of thing. So that's kind of fun. And also
um,
Hexbolt.
now I've got to try it. I see. This is the big difference between. Like I said this before, I don't think of these things. um,
But you also like
which
thematic
is,
things, and this isn't really thematic,
and
a
she's
big
also
known
not in the
thing.
MCU yet. So
True, true, true. X-Men
yes,
97, no? Good show.
is that MCU canon though? That's a
No.
different topic.
It's
Okay.
Disney Plus canon.
Yeah. Okay. So my favorite thing about Scarlet Witch is how she interacts with the encounter deck. And with the upcoming hero Falcon, you can look at the top card of the encounter deck. I'm really looking forward to that combination of heroes. And then
That's crazy, dude.
what do you mean?
Do you want to see my next team?
Oh, wait, but Falcon isn't in the game yet.
Well, a couple of these are theoretical for the future. I think
Oh,
that's fun with an upcoming character.
yeah,
So
okay. Let's
here's
see it.
here's here's two theoretical teams coming up for me. And the
Okay.
first one is what I'm calling accelerators.
Mm.
So we've got Falcon and Scarlet Witch right here together to start things off. And part of this is inspired by people have been saying, oh, these can be great together because they both use the deck and Falcon can help like Scarlet Witch using counter deck. And I saw somebody saying, maybe this isn't such a good idea because they're going to go for it so fast, get so many acceleration tokens. And then I
Mhm.
just thought, well, just
Mm.
bring Deadpool along
Yeah.
who benefits from them. And you turn that frown upside down. You know, turn the problem into a solution.
Yeah, and then Star Lord is going to help you cycle through that encounter deck even faster.
Yeah, I really like that as well. And you know, Falcon gonna be able to look at the top card of the encounter deck in the encounter phase face up. So that's gonna make Scarlet, which is kind of what she wants to do, a little bit more accurate. Star-Lord can
Mhm.
know what extra encounter card he's taking. I think that's gonna be really strong. But four, if there's a weak minion on top of the encounter deck, you could use him to like summon that in, knowing exactly what he's gonna discard and get, because it'll be the top card basically. So I think Star-Lord and four are both good choices. I think four goes through the deck quite quickly as well if you aggressively summon minions in.
Yeah.
So those are kind of interchangeable. What I really like here as well with Scarlet Witch and Deadpool is that Scarlet Witch can use her magic shield to protect Deadpool when he's alter ego, so he doesn't kind of game over, you know? So a little bit of protection there. And Falcon can kind of do that too with his, what's it called? I think it's Aerial Recon. But basically, he can get out
Yeah.
an extra encounter card. So maybe he sees a minion, deals it to 4, and then he gets a token, like a counter, which you can spend to prevent someone getting an encounter card. So you could prevent Deadpool getting one to just make him extra invincible. So there's a few little fun things going on there.
Really cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Falcon and Scarlet Witch combination. And then this gave me some thoughts about more interactions between the heroes and the encounter deck. This looks fun.
We got 2 teams left for you, I think, and the first of those is going to be X-Men United.
Oh yes.
So another X-Men
Okay,
kind of team here. Talk me through
I got a lot to say about this. First of all,
it.
first of all, this is just the basic, like they're all X-Men, so I put them together in a team, right? But also, these are my four favorite to play, and
Ah,
I like them in the comics too a lot. I really like Magneto is one of my favorite characters from the X-Men.
very
Um,
cool character.
very cool character, very cool powers. Iceman, I really like that guy too.
He's very cool in a different way.
Yeah. Magic, she's just a badass, right? She's just like cool powers and stuff like a cool sword and
Teleporting
I don't know,
magic, swords,
teleporting
demons.
demons. There you go. It's just all really cool. And Colossus, he's a strong guy
Yep.
with indestructible. I don't know what it is, skin or body.
Yeah,
Um,
he's very shiny. let
but
me ask you a question. Do you think he's shinier than Magneto's helmet? Looking at the artwork, who's shinier?
I think the helmet is shinier.
Okay, Colossus needs a bit of polishing. Okay.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So I like them as a character, but I also like the game. Colossus is one of my favorite X-Men to play in protection. The way he interacts with the tough cards, and then Magneto is just my favorite comic book character, probably top three at least.
Give me your top three right now.
You put me on the spot. Scarlet Witch, Magneto, Spider-Man, maybe.
Strong choice, strong choice.
I mean, Spider-Man is just everyone's friend, right? Safe
Friendly
choice.
neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Are you ready for
I,
my penultimate team?
yeah, go for it.
This is another Falcon theoretical team that has not been tested at all yet, but it's a
Okay.
little bit similar to the previous one and a little bit different. So this is again with the encounter card kind of thing going on. I've called this deck mastery. It's encounter deck mastery, and it's
Hmm.
Falcon again. And this time we have locked in for. He's not just an option. I've locked him in, and
Hmm.
the idea here was for Falcon's ability to kind of get almost maximum use in a different way. So again, Falcon can see the top of the encounter deck in the player phase. So 4 can know kind of what he's summoning in a bit, but also Spider Ham, if he taunts the enemy, he'll know what the boost card is. But if Falcon does get his aerial recon card down, which does look absurdly useful, if there's an attack treachery on the top of the encounter deck, you can give it to Spider Man. Spider Man will draw an extra card when the attack goes off. He can give a minion to 4, as we kind of discussed in my previous team of 4. Team of 4, not team with 4. It's hard to say. But Falcon can kind of deal him that. But if there's like a treachery that says, you take a damage or something, or even if it's an attack and Spider Man wants to go Trigo, etc., Falcon can give that to Spider Ham, and Spider Ham will take damage, generate a 2 encounter, which I think is kind of fun as well. But to kind of combo into this kind of deck mastery thing, 4, we talked about summoning minions. You can kind of see what's coming up a little bit. Spider-Man and Spider-Ham have encounter card treacheries. Spider-Man's is treacheries specifically. Spider-Ham's is actually, I believe, any encounter card. I think it's one of the rare ones that can kind of do that. So you have a lot of control over the encounter deck here. You can kind of take control and kind of dictate a little bit about what the villain's going to do here more than the average team. And I just kind of like to showcase the different things that Falcon can do with different characters. And
I've not thought of that in the way of like using Thor with Falcon.
yeah, this one was a little bit similar to my previous deck. I wanted to keep it a little simpler. Are you ready for your final deck team up?
Yeah, yeah. Let's do it.
Here we go. So, very aptly named, we have Marvel Champions.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, another team of four heroes that have the same trait.
What's different here is that there are only 4 champions in the game. So you didn't have a choice so much in this one. Is that
Yeah.
it just is the champions. Unless you include Rogue, like stealing traits, but I don't think we really count that.
Yeah. I kind of like the champions. Miss Marvel is just really good at threat removal with her, ability to
Shrink is
get
so
cards
good.
back and shrink. Yeah. Nova introduced us to Hone Technique, which is usually the way you play him. And then Spider-Man again actually with Spider-Man you can go with leadership or with protection and use the protection web warrior allies.
It's interesting thinking about like the web warriors in different aspects. We didn't talk about it much with the web warrior team you had, but there's now a web warrior ally, at least one in every aspect, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I feel like Einhart is speaking to me in the flavor text.
I want to play villain person. Let's play. Yeah. Villain person. Wow, is she talking to you?
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Yeah, I like this. I think this works well. You've got the champions sort of team up card in Go for Champions as well. That would work here.
I would use that in this team. Yeah.
Are you ready for the final team of the video?
Yeah.
This is a bit of a more involved team. I've technically mentioned it a long time ago on a video, but it's before it came out and before I tested it. And spoiler alert, it's really good. So this is going to be a bit more technical, a bit more explanation on this one. But my final team, I have maybe slightly arrogantly called 100% win rate.
I like the arrogance.
It's a bit of a joke, but also it's extremely strong. I will say I have to play this more at 2-player than 4-player, but it only gets better at 4-player. So the whole basis here is that we're playing Nova in the pool aspect, and by doing this, there's a infinite damage combo. And then we've got Cable, Psylocke, and Rogue to help him set up the infinite damage combo, enhance it, or even kind of take it over as a backup, which we'll kind of cover here. You could swap out maybe Psylocke for Phoenix. It was kind of a toss-up for me. I couldn't quite decide, but they both work fine here. It's the Sonic kind of thing we want, and the forwarding. But with Nova, in the pool aspect, it kind of works a little bit like this. So I'm going to put some other cards on the screen now and talk it through. So we've got Miss Marvel, the ally, and Go for Champions, which we were just talking about. This is the errated version, but it works just fine with the non-errated version as well, also of the Miss Marvel ally. So Miss Marvel as an ally says, hero response, after you play an event, exhaust Miss Marvel and deal 1 damage to her, return that event to your hand from your discard pile. Go for Champions says, hero action, blah blah blah, each champion's character in play cannot take damage until the end of the round. And a lot of people think this means that if you use Go for Champions, Miss Marvel doesn't work anymore because you can't deal a damage to her if she cannot take damage. But in Marvel Champions, deal and take damage, they used to be the same. In the 1.5 and 1.6 rules, we're currently on the 1.6 rules, actually they're different. Dealing a damage is kind of like outgoing damage. It's kind of like sending the damage. You can deal damage somewhere, but it might not be damage taken, which is damage received that has actually impacted your hit points. It's a little bit complicated. The wording in the rules is a little bit weird, but it effectively ends up working that way. So you can deal damage somewhere and consider a cost fulfilled, even if the enemies, the target of the damage taken, their health doesn't move. So you can make Miss Marvel invincible, and you can deal damage to her, she just won't take it. So you can still use her response. Does that make sense?
It does.
So you've got invincible.
It's kind of a weird interaction, but
it's really weird.
Yeah.
So you've got invincible Miss Marvel, and then you attack for 1. Maybe you pop it up for something. I don't know. You hit some minion for fun that you didn't need to hit. That's whatever you want to do. And then you get ragey. You make Miss Marvel really angry. She readies up, she hits +1 attack. Then you exhaust her, and you get ragey back. And you do it again, and again, and again. She's not taking that damage from her response to get ragey back to you. So she's readying infinitely as her attack stat builds and builds and builds.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. I thought they kind of patched it out in the latest rules, but I spoke to a few people in my Discord. A few of the rules people from like the main Discord server, I think they kind of interact there. Apparently, it still works in 1.6, which is absolutely insane. And once Miss Marvel gets to, I don't know, depends how bored you get, 652 attack, let's say, you attack with her, defeat the villain, and then maybe somebody else at the table uses command team, readies Miss Marvel up. She attacks for another 652 and defeats them. The kind of little obstacles there might be if there's another tough card on the villain's final stage, but somebody can play an attack as an action off turn, something like that. Maybe somebody has the cell phone card, which lets you use an ally off turn. You can absolutely make this work with very little obstacle. I know at 2-player we did this several times against Expert Ronan, Expert Venom Goblin. We took down those villains. 100% win rate. We didn't come close to losing. We just kind of won after a few turns, because all you have to do is kind of turtle up, go full defensive, just make sure you don't lose the game, and then suddenly you win the game. It might not be the most fun combo every time, but this kind of team up is trying to showcase kind of what you can do when you push the game to its craziest limit. And if you just have 3 players go defensive and the other player really quickly try and set this up, it's hard to lose because 3 players are completely going full, like, let's not lose. And then, with one little combo, suddenly the game is over, which, again, maybe not the most fun thing to do, at least all the time. It's kind of maybe you do it once, kind of to say you've done it. But it is kind of interesting. Some of the other character choices I've got here, Cable can help find an ally with call for backup. So turn 1, you can guarantee Miss Marvel. Psylocke and Rogue can also make the call, maybe if they're in leadership. So you have other ways to get Miss Marvel. She gets discarded by an encounter card, something like that. There are backup ways to get Miss Marvel onto the board. Nova would have to go for champions, but Rogue can, let's say, put touched on, I don't know, Vivian, Snowguard, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, a champion to get the trait, and a basic ally that she can superpower adaptation to get it out the discard pile if it goes by for some reason or something. So again, Rogue is kind of the backup way to get that working. And Psylocke has tons of threat removal for, Cable side schemes to help out. Rogue has a lot as well. If everyone here forts for their basic fort on turn 1 against whatever side scheme Cable brings in, you'll just need to find 4 more threat removal from allies or events or something to defeat Call for Backup, basically. So there's a few plans there. Got a few of these cards kind of up on the screen ready. Mulligan as well in pool for Nova lets you discard your whole hand. You can really quickly find the cards you need to set up the combo that way. Psylocke with Psychic Kicker is kind of the backup Get Ragey, because you can kind of infinitely keep readying Miss Marvel if you make the call for her with Psychic Kicker, as long as somebody else has played Go for Champions. So it's kind of the discount way to ready her up and get her stats bigger. The only downside is the stats are for the next attack, not for the kind of rest of the phase or round. I can't remember the exact phrasing on Get Ragey.
Yeah, it's one time. Yeah.
But you can end with Exhausted Miss Marvel, Psychic Kicker in hand, and then you just need 2 command teams on the board instead of 1, or Psychic Kicker or something, like a second copy or something, and you can just start the combo all over again for the next attack. So there's kind of like Nova and one other character is all you really need to do this. But when we layer in Cable, Psylocke, Rogue, it gets more consistent on more consistent on more consistent. So I'm sure it's actually possible to lose with this team, but I think it's very difficult.
Yeah. I think it's fun to at least try this once, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you need if you play this well, I don't think you need a lot of setup for this either.
No, so you just need Miss Marvel, and then you need to go for champions and get Ragey. So it is fine to 3 cards. They could be at the bottom of your deck. But if you have Nick Fury, Ironheart, 3 copies of Mulligan, Nova also with Unleashed Nova Force can actually sometimes pop off a little bit in multiplayer and draw for a few cards. You will get those cards. I don't think any of our test games went beyond turn 6, but most of them were shorter than that.
Yeah.
And that was a 2-player, which was less consistent, less tools to interact with.
That's crazy.
These characters can make some crazy shenanigans happen. But yeah, this was the last of our 20 different teams, so quite a few to go through, but hopefully...
Did we really go through 20?
We did. Yeah, I got this fancy end screen here. We just talked about all sorts, definitely Cyclops, Cable, Storm featured in a lot of mine. I think you just had a lot more sort of thematics. You had the Webroid team, a couple of Avenger teams, the Dance of Guardians team. We've gone through a lot of different teams there. Do you have a favorite team among your teams or among my teams? So is just anything standing out in your mind at this moment?
Probably my X-Men with Magneto and Magic, Colossus and Iceman. Yeah, that's probably the one I would pick. And then from yours, maybe the one with Falcon and Scarlet Witch and the others that did the encounter deck. That looked really fun to me.
I think that's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to trying, all different combos when Falcon comes out. I don't know if I've got a favorite of my own ones. I think one of your ones that stands out to me is the leaderships one, 4 characters all in leadership. I think that's a really fun idea to try and make all that work. Yeah, thank you for joining me in this video. Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything else to add? Where can people find you if you want to be found?
Oh, you can try to find me, but I'm not really on the interwebs. I mean, I am, but I don't have a YouTube. Don't even have a Facebook anymore since a couple of years. So.
Oh, wow.
But it's been fun. I like going over these teams. I wonder what if we get reactions from people, if they liked it, if they gained inspiration from it. Let us know, or let VT know. It's his channel. But,
you can read the comments.
Yeah, I can read the comments. True, but I don't expect them to be aimed at me. But,
let us know what you liked. Maybe your favorite from each of us, or anything. Or is there anything you might try? Most people, I think, would have to get 4 different people together to play this. Though I don't think most people play even 2-handed, let alone 4-handed like you.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of cool multiplayer stuff. So I'm glad we got to talk about this. And who better than someone who always plays 4-player?
Yeah. I'm glad we did this. It was fun.
Yeah. Thank you for introducing me to the game as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No. When was that? I think it's 4 years ago or something.
It was during the Guardians Most Wanted wave.
Yeah. Yeah. Right after I got it into the game. I think it's been a couple of weeks, and then I introduced you to it, I think.
Yeah. That was fun. I enjoyed those games. We should play some more.
We should.
But until then, I'm going to thank everyone for watching, And I haven't been doing the like comment subscribe thing for a while, but if I hit 4K subs, I will do an extra video, a quite special, unusual video for Mobile Champions. I don't think anyone's ever done it before. I've been working at it, so it's preparation across all the time I've really been doing my channel. It's kind of been this idea I've wanted to do, never got around to. So I would love to be able to do that. And otherwise, see you guys in the comments, see you guys in the next video, and thank you for watching. Bye.
Yep.